So why wasn't Cody Cummings viewed as a suspect or charged? Probably because you can't prove anything. But I'm not understanding that, because I thought in this life all the time, if you were, apparently, this was just on Inside Edition today, this grandmother is trying to get justice for her 2 grandchildren, ages 18 months and 4 years, Darby and Kira, who died 10 weeks apart under suspicious circumstances. Cody Cummings was with the children both times. The grandmother, her daughter, it's her kids, and I guess he was the boyfriend at the time, but they died like thousands of miles apart or something. I don't know, something like that. But I mean, how? It's just like when you hear about black widows or something. Like why would he not even be? Nobody's been charged. No one's even considered a suspect. And this grandmother, I would be too. I'd be 100% convinced it's too much of a coincidence. There's no coincidence in this life. These 2 little kids died under suspicious circumstances. First, the 18-month-old, whose name was Darby, died of bodily injuries. And then 10 weeks later, the little girl, 4-year-old girl, Kira, died of head injury. And what was what do you call it? Not mitigating factor. Who was I don't know what the word is, but the thing that connects both those things, those situations, is Cody Cummings was there, and that's the children's mom's boyfriend, her husband. Okay, her name's Julia. He's Cody Cummings, and he apparently is. They say he's either been arrested or had a warrant for something for assault charges. But the whole thing is, how can he not even be? I don't understand that, because to me, if a child dies in someone's care, I mean, I've heard before that person is at least viewed as a suspect. And the connecting factors in these 2 deaths, suspicious deaths, are him. I don't know if he was alone. And because she said to her daughter, "Did you kill Darby and Kara, or did Cody?" So if they were together, they can back each other up and say, "Oh, the kid fell," or it's so suspicious. It's so unbelievably suspicious. It took place in 2 different states, I guess, 10 weeks apart. Both children dead. Come on. Come on, you're telling me that no one's going to be charged, and it's just like, oh well, it happened. We can't prove who did it. I hear all the time, if someone becomes a suspect, if you know, that's so suspicious. Anyway, I just watched that now. I came home, couldn't stay awake, had false awakenings, had the TV on. I think American Idol came on. I was trying to watch Inside Edition, and I think I kept starting it over, waking up, I don't know, but for a couple hours, like, passed out. I spent all day today, all day. It would have been simple, if you have the smartphone for under, it can be just 7 days. You know, you have to return it within 7 days, and it has to be under an hour talk time. She was just under an hour talk time. I had no idea up front. Worst case scenario, I still would have, you know, if it wasn't under an hour talk time, you keep the phone till the end of the month, and then you cancel it anyway, right? And then you have the free phone, because they don't take the phone back. I don't need the phone. As I told you in the video, she decided it's her decision. Her decision. But I was firm, tough love, you know. You can't keep asking me to help you when I've showed you 59 times. If you can't use this phone and learn and practice, and I gave you And then so that's up to her. I said, do you want to keep the phone and practice, Mom, so you can learn it like the back of your hand? It's not like something you can practice on in your leisure. It's a phone that you need to be able to use. You can't be asking me or other people to use to help you with the phone. You have to learn to do it on your own. And then it's way more steps. I agree. Because remember, I've never dealt with a smartphone in my life before. I had to learn how to do it myself. The nice woman who sold it to me in Metro T-Mobile place showed me, and then I read instructions and whatnot. But my mom didn't want to practice. I said, Mom, if you practice doing this, you can pretend to dial me, so you're not bothering anybody. You can dial me on the home phone or my cell or whatever, and just keep doing it over and over. She didn't want to do it. Too many steps, too stressful for her. I predicted that would happen. I didn't know it would be so hard. I knew it would be way harder than a flip phone. A flip phone is simple compared to a smartphone. I mean, the screen turns black, you have to turn it on to the side. Sometimes if you catch it in time, you touch it, but it constantly turns off. To the point where it constantly turns off. And then you have to swipe to unlock it, and then you have to know to press I'm just talking about calling out, you have to do the green. I learned this myself just now in the last few days. You press the green phone thing to get to contacts, and then if you have the contacts programmed, otherwise, we haven't even gotten to dial pad yet. Hadn't even taught her that yet. We were just trying to do, I put a whole bunch of things in contacts, and then you have to do the little green guy, green phone, and then it dials, and then to hang up is the upside down red phone, and even I found it annoying that it constantly shuts off. Constantly shuts off. If I can understand it shutting off like a screensaver, but it's not. The screensaver, if you don't, then you can just press the screen and it comes back. But if you don't do it, you have to keep doing it from the side button. You have to turn it back on. But I did find out if it had been over an hour talk time, it was just under. It was 59 and then seconds, but it was under an hour, and that's all it had to be. I didn't know going there. Either way, I found out, right? I didn't even want to use the phone to try to find out. I just went there and hoped for the best. But then getting her same number, I thought it would be easy, like switch it back, I want to go back to how it was 6 days ago, that's all. I still have this AT&T phone, but it's not that simple. It is not even remotely that simple. And then I had people who didn't know what they were doing. I had because remember this was her AT&T phone number, and I have a rep. Oh, we could just do it right now. No, you can't. That I know. My common sense tells me that number is not an AT&T number anymore. It belongs now. It's connected to T-Mobile, and I only have within the 7 days, and it takes time to switch it over, and they need to cancel it within that 7 days I needed to get the ball rolling, and I had to ask to speak to a supervisor because this woman, and I knew she didn't know what she was talking about. She was like, "Oh, it's simple. We could just do that." No, you can't. I know, my common sense tells me I'm going to need the account number and PIN number for you guys to get the phone number back and do it switch back just the same as we switched from AT&T over there. And she had no idea what she was doing, and I know she didn't. And then I said, I want to speak to a supervisor, and she puts me on hold, comes back, and I recognize her voice, and I said, and she said, blah, blah, blah. I said, I asked to speak to a supervisor, under my breath, you freaking bitch, like, what are you doing? Someone has to speak to a supervisor, you don't put them on hold forever, and then come back you, right? And I was right to ask to speak to a supervisor, and I wanted to be a manager, and he was able to help me the way she would have never been able to. I wanted to reactivate this same phone. To do that, we had to open up the phone and get the SIM number from the back and all this crap. And this, sometimes I know reps think that they know everything, and they don't a lot of the time. Sometimes you have to insist on talking to a supervisor or manager. You have to. Because you can tell, I could tell this woman didn't know what she was talking about, thinking, oh, we could just do that easily. No, you can't. In the end, I was right. You can't. It's not easy at all. This phone has been canceled and etc. But it was 6 days ago, and I want to switch it back the same as we switched it originally. So in the end, I wanted that same phone number. We don't know if he didn't know, the manager didn't know if we could do it. The T-Mobile person wasn't the one who sold it to me, and who was the owner. This was a different person, but she was so nice. It was obscenely bitter cold here in Massachusetts today. Bitter, bitter, just bone-chilling. And she let me stay in there and conduct AT&T business, okay, in her thing. Because at first she was like, well, if someone comes in, you're going to have to, like, whatever. And I'm like, I understand that. I'll go out in the cold, whatever. But in the end, she didn't make me go out in the cold. I just had to make sure I was quiet enough. I went over on the, but she let me stay in there. She didn't have to do that. And it was obscenely cold, and it would have just been pure hell. But we're trying to get to the bottom of this, because they need to cancel it out in order for me to get my refund of the $50 plus the tax paid on the free phone, okay? Oh my God. I haven't even checked my phone. My phone went dead. I knew my phone went dead that I was talking to that manager on. And I said, you're going to need to call me back on this phone. My phone's dead. I can't even talk to you. And he activated this. We at least got this activated. He gave me a temporary number. And I was like, you sure we should do that if we're trying to get my mom's old number back? Maybe we should just keep it as it is. Oh, it's all right. I'll just give you this temporary number. And I'm like, well, how are you activating the phone? I haven't paid on it yet. And he's like, well, I finagled something so it would work. But then I had plenty of time. Remember, I'm waiting. I have to wait for the bus. So by then I'd missed my bus and I had to wait a whole hour again. So it was awful, awful. And of course you have to keep calling back. Did that manager call me back when I was busy giving him my credit card number to set up autopay? No. So it was a total of 7.5 hours all day long after my dentist appointment. Walking in the bitter cold, dodging the snowbanks everywhere, trying not to get hit by cars, walking in the bitter cold, so long on that. In fact, I'm charging my phone now. I should see how long total it was, because I know it was a long time based on what time it was in the minute. Yeah, almost an hour and a half. An hour and 20 minutes that she let me be on with various people sitting in her, where she walked. But she said, you know, she said it. She's like, she didn't know it would take that long though, but she didn't kick me out. That was awfully nice of her. Not that she was super, super friendly, but she was nice to me, and I thanked her because I appreciate kindness. Told you what the freaking bus driver was trying to do to me last Friday when I got my mom's, you know, I waited 20 minutes in the bitter cold along with other people, and then I get on a different bus, and I'm not allowed to talk to my fellow passengers or complain or say blah, 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 and without the bus driver saying there'll be nothing negative here. This is not a communist China or communist whatever or Kim Jong-un. You can't dictate what I say on the bus when I'm not talking to you, and I'm not, you know, like, who the fuck do you think you are, king of the friggin' bus? I've dealt with that shit before, and I don't, you know. I won't say what Joe has said when I complain about shit like this, because it's not very nice, but it isn't me saying it, and I also don't like Joe saying that. I don't want him putting down anybody, but he's in an advanced career, and he can say whatever he wants about bus drivers, especially ones who think that they are like, you know, they're an employee driving the bus, and they think they're king of the bus, okay? I've experienced that. It doesn't matter. I've experienced that even in other places, in other bus companies, and other whatever, okay? You're not king of the bus. I know you're driving the bus, but you're not. You are an employee of that company, and you can't control my freedom of speech when I'm not talking to you, you know. Years ago, I was talking to this motherfucker. We hadn't even left yet. We got no explanation, no apology. The bus arrived a whole hour late. It's like we missed the whole thing, and And I'm saying to my mom, blah, 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 whatever. Are we going to make it to whatever? And I said to her, I'm like, yeah, if we, and the bus driver way up there, we weren't right behind. I was like, one more word out of you and I'm going to throw you off this bus. Of course, my mom's terrified, and I'm thinking, good, do it, you motherfucker. I could sue you. I mean, you can't throw me off the bus for exercising my freedom of speech, not talking to you, not saying one word to you. Didn't say one fucking word to you, not even why were you so late today, because I know you and you're a motherfucker. I don't like you, okay? I know you're an asshole, okay? And in this instance, I didn't say anything to this guy either. I was talking about the other. And, you know, I'm a human being. If I wait 20 minutes in the bitter cold, then I can, and start badgering. I'm not badgering anyone. He's asking me, number one, and if I'm badgering him, I didn't obey him, by the way. I'm not going to. Throw me off this fucking bus for no reason when I'm not even talking to you and I can sue the pants out of you. You know what I mean? You can't throw me off the bus, especially at night, because I'm exercising my freedom of speech, talk to my fellow passenger about whatever. It's none of your fucking business. Mind your own business and drive the bus. Oh my God. I later said to management, I thought my days of having to press record the moment I stepped on any of these buses was over with. Apparently not. Oh. I didn't obey him. Especially in this age of, you gotta be careful with we women now. You know, you're a guy and you're freaking threatening to throw me off the bus for talking to my fellow passenger, especially when he's asking me a question about how it works, because he's only ridden it once before. You know what I mean? You just don't want me to badmouth your fellow employee. Tough shit. I have no idea why he was so late. I only know that I'm a human being, and if any of us, we, as human beings, we complain to our fellow human being when things annoy us or upset us or whatnot, and waiting 20 minutes in the bitter, bitter cold for a bus that never came. I have a right to say it, you know. I'm not talking to you. I'm not saying one word to you. And the fact that this happened in previous years for other situations, your manager 100% agreed with me, tells me that you're full of shit, and you can't be threatening to throw me off the bus for no fucking reason. I could sue you if you threw me off the bus. Oh my God. What are we in, communist China or communist North Korea? You know what I mean? What is this? You can't complain or you're going to be threatened to be thrown off the bus at the night time, the side of the road. Anyway, today was like all day long, waiting for buses, waiting in the cold, dodging cars, dodging piled up snowbanks. I mean, and in the end, I have 24 hours because they need to either turn it off themselves, in which case my mom keeps this new number, which is a sucky number because her old number had double digits, which is fun. Like, say, you know, if you have a last number of 1, 2, 2, 4, at least you got the 2 2s, whereas if it's 4 different numbers, the last one, it sucks, okay? And that's just chance, but she wanted an old number. And if she has a new number, she's going to have to, you know, tell people what happened, and then she wasn't able to know. It's heartbreaking. I was crying practically because I'm, you know, like that, and I was sitting on hold, or I was talking to so many people at AT&T, and then in the end I had to be transferred to where you switch over numbers, and the guy that I got to speak with was very articulate and very whatever, and I said, well, the manager called over, and I got hung up on him, but he said he called over there to give you a heads up what's going on, and he said, I don't know what happened, but they did everything wrong. I said, did it mess up that he gave this temporary number? I didn't have to have a temporary number. I'm trying to get my mom's old number, and maybe it messed up giving this number now. We should have kept it as it was, and as dead, and then switching over the number. And he said, they did tons of things wrong. I have to put in a report. And I said, well, he said it could take up to 24 hours to fix this. Well, I said, well, that's all we have. I have to call that place tomorrow and either tell them just you cancel it so I can get my refund, or they'll see that it's canceled and the number was switched over back here. Just a big fucking mess. Big fucking mess. And I sent these texts to Selena. I can't believe that my mom didn't want to keep the smartphone, but I predicted it, but she had to learn herself. You know, that would be horrible. I can't say, no, you can't have a smartphone. No, I'm going to get you the smartphone, and you need to learn for yourself whether or not you want to deal with it, because as I learned myself, If I had my own smartphone, then she could practice on it, but still have her own phone that she needs to have and be able to use. And I'm sorry, but flip phone's way, way easier. Smartphone has too many steps. My mom was even pressing it too hard. I'm like, you have to tap it quickly, Mom. If you press it too hard, it's not going to work. And she was getting the wrong contact sometimes, pressing. She's not used to any of that. Then I said,